So, hello, fellow fighters for this world, and welcome to Hogcast, a Hogs of War podcast. Before I'm going to introduce my guest today. Wanted to thank a few people. First of all, ADB for creating the name. He came up with the name, and I just loved it, so I'm going to use that. And then also Miniplay and Ghost for the Hogs of War assets in Gmod that made the thumbnail or the logo, I would say, necessary. So this will be a new podcast, just for Hogs of War. I'm aiming to release a new episode each third Sunday. We'll see how it goes, and I have a guest with me where we talk about random hog topics. And the first guest I'm honored to introduce is Pinstripe.
Hello, everybody.
I guess most of you watching this or hearing this, better said, know Pinstripe already. But for those who may don't know you, can you give us a quick update or not update, quick information on you?
I am technically a Hogs of War YouTuber that likes to make videos about pigs that shoot each other. That's usually the tagline I go with. But
yeah, it says all.
Pretty much. I've been making Hogs of War content primarily since I've known Newcastle, it's been a good 3 years now. It feels a lot longer. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I think it. You're trying to guess. You're trying early 2019 in the Discord. I'm done. We know each other, so it should be about 3 years.
Yeah, so 3 years of constant Hogs content, which I'm happy to say hasn't really burnt out yet. There's still so much to do. I mean, for myself in the channel and the videos that I'm making, because there's still so many topics to cover, but also the content that I'm making has been expanded through the stuff that we've been doing and making in the community, speedrunning, competitive, the events that we've done, that we've live streamed, just so many different avenues that we've kind of gotten into, which has been great, of course, because we've seen the massive expansion in the Discord, on Reddit, which I'm still surprised at as well. That's still growing. We should hopefully hit 500 members on Reddit, on the subreddit, this year, I'm hoping, because we're about 435 now, something like that. So yeah, it's all about just getting the message out there that this community exists, and that's been the my message, my motto, as it were, since making Hogs content. Has just been to try and grow something and get as many people on board that enjoy the game, that enjoyed it in the past, that maybe in their mid 20s and going into their 30s now, that remember the game, that are like, oh sweet, there's a community here, maybe we can do something.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess you all know the topic now. It's Hogs of War media, and of course we have the Pin is the main Hogs of War YouTuber, the biggest Hogs of War YouTube channel, who posts regular content about the game, and yeah, we'll talk about media. You also already mentioned a lot of stuff. We will be talking here, but we'll go into more detail for their own later here in the podcast. But yeah, so if you don't know his YouTube channel already, I will post a link to it in the description. You should definitely check that out if you don't know. But let's begin with I prepared some questions for you. So the first one would just be a general one. So when and why did you originally start making YouTube videos? So not about Hogs, but just tell us about a bit about your YouTube history.
Well, originally I started making Team Fortress 2 content. I followed Germa, who of course many people may know from on Twitch these days, and Star as well. They were the two big tier 2 YouTubers, and they inspired me to make videos. So it was around about 2010 that I first started making tier 2 content. It wasn't very good. The videos, I thought, it's the same sort of process whereby you make your first video and you think, oh, this is going to get so many views, it's going to be awesome, and then YouTube kind of hits you like a truck in the face and says, well, actually, no, you're going to get about 10 views on this video. No one's really going to like it, or find it or watch it because it's going to be buried in this massive pile. So starting off YouTube was a big learning curve. I mean, you said a minute ago about me being like, the most well-known hogs YouTuber, and that to me still seems weird because my channel to me still seems so like small, and it in terms of like growth and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess we're just not big, but a dedicated community. But
Yeah, exactly.
about your first videos, was it like something like a let's play, or was it just gameplay scenes, or did it
No,
follow any theme?
I kind of I did the standard practice of like copying every other TF2 YouTuber in that I'd make commentaries talking about specific, well, basically the same thing I'm doing now for Hogs. Just talking about specific weapons, specific maps, doing live commentaries with different people. I made friends in the TF2 community, which I still have today. I don't really speak to them as much. It kind of just sort of fizzled out, and then I moved on, obviously, to Hogs. I mean, Hogs was my side thing. I said it quite a lot when I did TF2 things. Hogs of War was my side content alongside Team Fortress 2, which was a strange combination, I'll give you that. But it was then that I realized, well, I've been doing Hogs, and those videos, they've been simple commentary videos, but I've enjoyed them. And Team Fortress 2, I was burnt out on. I didn't have any more inspiration on because, again, everyone was doing the same thing. And everyone had kind of made all the videos that could be made already. And even if I'd have tried, I wouldn't have got anywhere with it. Or if I had, but it was also the TF2 community. I mean, I don't want to bash them too much, but I mean, I don't know if you hear online, but the TF2 community can be quite difficult, shall we say? Yeah.
Okay, didn't know about that, but I mean, there are a lot of communities that are pretty toxic.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get any
world.
toxicity. I didn't get any toxicity myself, but I moved on, and I didn't want to delete my channel and start again. So I kind of, in a way, I cheated. I deleted everything, and then I revamped myself, my YouTube name, the channel itself, and then started producing Hogs content. So technically, I guess the channel went through that period of like losing and gaining subscribers constantly. So the channel didn't really move at all.
Yeah, I want to speak about that in a bit later. Just a few things I want to mention that. For Let's Plays, so because I think your first Let's Play of Hogs you started on your channel started like 6 years ago or so on the PC version.
It's still not finished.
It's still not finished, but at least a normal mode you have done then. For some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so doing that for a while. But I don't know if I guess I never told anyone in the Hogs community, but I also like when I was 10 years ago or 11 years ago, it was Let's Plays were everywhere, and I was like so 12, 13 years old, and thought, oh, I can make YouTube videos Let's Play myself and get really like I said, a lot of views, and also
Exactly.
I made a YouTube channel. It's still it doesn't exist anymore today.
Oh.
And my sister and I, we were big Pirates of the Caribbean fans, so we really loved that. And we made our first YouTube video. We made, I think it was, we had to cut it in 2 parts since there was still this 10-minute limit on YouTube videos.
Yeah.
There was something like that.
Yeah.
So we made we had a Wii, we had Pirates of the Caribbean for the Wii, and we tend to play that a lot. So we just had one of our old phones record the screen.
Nice, even better.
Yeah, and talking in German and uploading the video, and it got like no views at all. And it was so I think we had like this we like recorded 3 or 4 parts of it, and I uploaded 2, and then it just died because I mean I was a kid and didn't get like 1,000 views straight out of the gate, and I was disappointed and stopped. But yeah,
Pirates of the Caribbean. That's so obscure, and I would never have guessed that at all. I want to see that now, though. I want to see like young Castor, but
no, we don't have the I don't
Uh,
think we have the video or something at all from that, and yeah, I mean it wasn't good. You wouldn't understand a word we were talking in the like Austrian dialect, and
yeah, true.
just playing the game. We played like 4 times 100% it already, so we really loved that, and yeah, I don't
Damn.
know, it was strange times.
So you've been speedrunning all your life, pretty much.
No, we didn't speedrun it actually. We just played it for fun so often, but no speedrunning really only started for Hogs for me. But that's for another podcast, speedrunning. So we'll save that
Yeah.
for later. But to come back on the odd channel. So you said that you didn't have or you couldn't create any original or any new content for Team Fortress 2. So was that the reason you chose Hogs of War as your main
Yeah.
topic then?
Yeah, like I said, I had Hogs as my side hustle, and looking at those videos, they were getting, when I was making TF2 content, I was pushing like 1.5k views a video, which was great. But then, I was burning out so quickly, and I was looking at my Hogs videos, and they were getting like, despite I had the fact that I had a TF2 audience, I was still getting like 400 views on those videos. So there was an interest there at least. So I was like, all right, well, I'll start this. For some reason, starting on the PC version. I mean, that's when I was still on Windows 7 and I had it on Steam. And I figured, I'm still questioning myself here as to why I guess just because it was easy and convenient, because I was using the combination of the PC version of Hogs with Fraps, and Fraps was working on the Windows 7 version of Hogs. So I was like, all right, it's easy for me to just like record a mission and then
Yeah.
do a commentary, and it was that process for, I mean, the first like what? Oh well, yeah, the first section of normal mode on the PC version. So like the first 25 missions, but then alongside that, I was like, okay, well, that's one series that I'm doing. So what else can I do and talk about? So I came up with the boot camp series, and then it just sort of snowballed from there. I started doing live commentaries, which were terrible. I've deleted some recently. Actually, I went
Oh,
back
really?
through and yeah, just some live commentary videos that were done on like here's me playing Death Bowl against like 3 other teams. Like
Yeah.
it was, and those videos had like 150, 200 views. I was like, well,
Uh,
they're a bit trashy. I don't know.
I don't remember that actually. I think the first
Exactly. No
where
one remembers.
yeah, I didn't find you via the Let's Play because there's so many Let's Plays of Hogs of War around outside,
That's true.
so
Yeah.
didn't find you for that. But I think the first video was either the what is the worst weapon in Hogs of War? Like you had the
Oh
Spec Ops,
yeah.
the Bayonet,
Yeah.
and the Suicide, I guess was the third
Yeah.
one. And or it was the Ace video, and that really flashed me. That was the video
Yeah.
that
Yeah. The I wanted to. My overall thinking with like going with Hogs was that I wanted to bring something else to the table other than just playing what was already there. So I wanted to be able to dive into the game, obviously talk about it in its fullest in terms of weapon stats, everything, and
yeah.
but I wanted to be like a cut above the rest in terms of bringing content that hadn't been seen before. Because yeah, like you said, there's tons of videos of Hogs out there, but it's always the same thing of like one person playing through the entire game, or just gameplay. Like the one thing that has frustrated me the most, well, not frustrated, partial frustration, but also just a wanting for there to be other people that are doing the same things as me. Because I don't. I think Bobby at one point came to me and said, I'd already talked about a certain topic of Hogs in a video, and he came and asked me if he could do the same thing. And I was like, yeah, like go for it. Like at the end of the day, I want people to be talking about and giving their opinions on everything in the game. I don't own all the topics of Hogs. It's free
Yeah.
reign for everybody. But everyone just seems to upload their gameplay of like Mission 7, and it's like, okay, like that's cool, but I don't know. There's part of me that wants there to be more. There's part of me that wants I want people to be reaching for the ceiling and trying to, just put themselves out there, like you're doing with this podcast. Like this is awesome. I tried the podcast. I ran out of things to talk about, but like the way that you've got it structured and your mindset going into it is awesome. And this is the kind of thing that I want to see from other people. I don't expect it from other people, you know. I'm not like
Yeah,
forcing anyone to make stuff, but
I
you know,
know what you want to say there. And for me, I started a podcast because I really liked your podcast.
mm,
But yeah, it's been dead for a while, if I can say that. So I
yeah,
decided I really want to have a Hogs of War podcast again. But
mm,
you're not making new episodes, so I thought I will just make my own. So
exactly,
yeah, I like talking
exactly,
about the game. Want to have different people here, and yeah, maybe I don't feel myself like a big content creator. You know, my videos on YouTube either challenges or speedrun. So I'm not a content creator really in Hogs, and I don't feel like I could do that too well. But yeah, I just enjoy playing the game and doing some crazy challenges. But
yeah.
like I said
It's
before, your video really of the Ace really flashed me because before I joined the Hogs of War community, I only played the game for myself and with my dad, and I just know the basics, you know, but
yeah,
nothing fancy. And like for the Ace, I was flashed. I didn't know the Ace existed. I mean, there was information on the internet, but I never really searched on the internet. I only searched for Hogs of War 2 and nothing else really related to Hogs.
yeah,
So I didn't know about the Ace that flashed me, and yeah, and then going on in the Hogs of War Discord, and the first thing I actually learned about speedrunning was there are wall climbs. I didn't even know there were wall climbs when doing my first speedrun, so
yeah.
you can imagine Mission 10 how painful the bad way all around the bag was.
Yeah, I remember watching some old speedruns of people doing it that way. It's like, oh, just seeing how much the community has advanced in terms of learning different strategies and kind of setting the bar at a certain level in terms of the rules and being like, okay, well, what is wall climbing? Is it technically a glitch, or is it this, or is it that? And you know, just seeing the evolution of these discussions that we have in the
Yeah.
community and deciding these rules. It's awesome. Just going back to a point I was making a minute ago. So I guess I'm rambling at this point, but um, the PC version I mentioned about trying to be a cut above the rest and everything, and that's where I dived into. That was where I started modding essentially the PC version. I think I found I think it was Nicklander, uh, his um, his hex editor stuff was what
Oh
I
yeah.
used to then access the Ace, and it was also what I then used to unpack the PC version and edit textures because I was editing team textures and then I was editing map textures, and then I snowballed into using the
Mm.
emulator PlayStation version more, making content from that, and also trying to unpack that and do something with it, which, as you know, is like
It's
trying to untangle spaghetti.
yeah, but the problem is like on Windows 10 the uh the Windows 10 version, the Hogs of War, the PC version that I wanted to say is even more terrible. So that are
Mm.
like spaghetti that are trapped in some kind of metal box they don't have a key for. So
Exactly, exactly. That's the perfect way of saying it. Especially because like if you try and do the simple things on the PC version, like tab out back to desktop, it
yeah,
just like
oh my god,
crashes.
yeah,
It just
so
small things
sad.
like that.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
remember your modding. I remember your mission one. There you showed us like a bit of purple shady trees or so.
Yeah,
Something about that. It was pretty fun to watch.
yeah. Just small little things like that that were fun because since I was a kid, and I'm sure since many other people were kids and played hogs, I always wanted to be able to change the color of the teams, change what they look
Mm,
like, add stuff, and that's still a thing that the hogs community, as you well know, are like craving in terms of modding, not just the levels, but just like the pigs and
exactly,
everything else.
exactly. But you just mentioned you playing Hogs of War as a kid. When did you actually start playing Hogs, or how did you get the game?
The the game was originally bought by my dad. He owned it because this was back when the PlayStation 1 was his main console. But obviously, it was the main console that I grew up with. He bought it, he played it, and he was terrible at it. And I think he didn't understand the power gauge system or anything, and he really struggled with it. And I think it just became something that was just left on the shelf. So I picked it up when said PlayStation 1 was then handed down to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just became my game. And I used to sit. It was when I shared a room with my older sister. I mean, I started playing when I was like 6 or 7, and when we shared a room, we had bunk beds, and I used to make like a pillow fort because I was on the bottom bunk,
Yeah.
and I had this massive like thick TV, um, and I'd have my PlayStation, and I'd just sit and play Hogs constantly, just playing through the single player campaign, this, that, and the other. And yeah, that was basically me every single weekend. I would switch between playing Hogs of War, ISS Pro Evolution 2, Spider-Man 1 on
Yeah.
PS1. I think
For,
those are my main 3. I'm pretty sure.
for me, the story is a bit similar. Like, it's also the PS1 and the game belonged to my dad, and
Mm.
I really always found the game interesting. And he was playing it a lot. He was actually good at it, so he was beating the regular campaign, not with ease, but I mean, he was able to beat it.
Yeah.
And the cousin of my dad and they often played it together, and just just a multiplayer map and just Dam Busters. They're playing like 4 hours Dam Busters and keeping score who won the most. And it was just that they made rules. So in Dam Busters, so they made a rule that you can't use the heavy shell before you didn't use any other short range shell, because otherwise you could just kill all of the pigs at the start. But they made rules for it, and it was just so funny. And they had like they planned like the exact same 3-4 turns at the beginning, and how many times I heard them blaming the controller for missed inputs. It was so funny.
They weren't even dealing with input lag. Oh.
No, but and yeah, I always wanted to watch, but at first my parents didn't really want to watch me because it was like too aggressive, the game, or too, how do you say that,
Mm.
too, not made for kids, but I wasn't allowed to play it myself at first, but I made them that I can at least watch. So I was watching my dad playing through the campaign a lot,
Yeah.
but then sometimes I was allowed to play it, and especially with friends, it was always the if somebody was here, we played Hogs of War together. And I actually made Hogs of War tournament with some of my friends at some
Oh,
point.
nice.
Uh, I won.
Of course.
But yeah,
Uh,
we really enjoyed playing that, and it was really the couch multiplayer
yeah.
you expect from a PS1 game of that area.
Caster's still undefeated after 20 years. Uh,
But to come back to the Hogs of War media, you mentioned before that you're trying to reach new people with your videos, or trying to let the community grow,
mhm.
and especially with all the new content, all the new stuff with board games and everything coming up now, and also
Yeah.
we hear that because people are going to ask, are there new updates?
No.
Okay, good. Then we have that covered. But how big do you feel the audience still is out there? So are there still
Yeah.
many fans you can reach?
Yes. Yes and no. In that, uh, I know that the fan base is massive in different countries. But I know that the things that I'm producing aren't, 100% stuff that they follow. So, for instance, I know obviously, well, a question for you.
Oh.
Which one have you played more, Front Shriner or the English version of Hogs of War?
I have to say the English version, because ever since I played an emulator, I just played the English version for some reason. Because I think at the beginning I did it because I had no idea which level they were talking about and the weapons, and so because I
Hmm.
never played the English version, so it was hard to communicate at
Yeah.
first, and I just never stopped playing the English version because for me, most of the time doing challenges or speedruns, turn the voices off because for speedruns they're slow. The challenges are
Yeah.
getting annoying if you have like 100 tries and you're hearing 100 times the same voice line at the beginning. So yeah,
Yeah. That's fair enough. Yeah, exactly. But that kind of adds to my point in that there is a massive audience out there, but the content that I'm making, because it's in English and the game I'm using is in English, it won't be exactly how people remember or follow it, which isn't,
Yeah.
the worst thing in the world, because at the end of the day, the graphics are still the same, things look the same, and people can still follow along if they know the levels and weapons and whatnot. But it reminds me of my when I made my first mod, and I think it was Wizkey, as a
Oh
guy on
yeah.
YouTube. Yeah, he commented and asked, like if I'll make the mod, but on Frontliner, if I'd make the mod again for the German version, and that is something that I would love to do, but I just don't have time for, because it involves me making
Yeah.
exactly the same thing again, but also adding in the correct translations to things if I'm changing text and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I guess it's just the audience for such a mod wouldn't probably not be worth the effort. Fortunately. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's again like yes and no, because I know that Germany, Spain, France, Italy, those are the main, and Russia. Sorry, those are
Yeah.
the big 5 European countries, non-English speaking countries, I should say. But I mean, from making the Discord and seeing people join, we have seen other people from around the world. Obviously, North America, a couple in South America. A small handful in Asia, I want to say, and obviously big in Australia, New Zealand, and Oceania as well. So yeah,
Yeah, but the main I think we can agree on, or experience showed us the main Hogs of War group, or the main fan group is in Europe.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, regardless of language barrier, I still want to be able to put out content that everyone can see, because I keep tabs on different communities. I keep tabs on the Frontliner community. I keep tabs on the Russian community specifically, because I know that the Russian community is a big one.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you there. You said you're not the only Hogs of War YouTuber out there, which yeah, I mean we all know there are many different
Quote
guys
unquote
who,
YouTuber.
yeah, YouTuber. There are
Yeah.
many guys who make Hogs of War content. Are we really in touch with some others, or especially maybe from the Russian community, since they are big community, but they have some form of organized community as well, like we have the Discord, or is it more like split up groups?
Yeah, they're primarily. I mean, I imagine there's more of them, but from the ones I've seen from the Russian community, they're mainly on VK, which for people who don't know is kind of the Russian version of Facebook. Um, and you can view certain communities even if you don't have a VK account, which is pretty handy. But yeah, it's. I have tried reaching out to certain people. I have had help from other people. Shout out to Fly0DB, of course, who you know as well, Caster.
Yeah.
He's helped a lot with, again, modding stuff in relation to maps and uncovering old stuff like sheep and things like that, random stuff.
Shape.
But I mean, that's the one thing that we're always trying to bridge the gap from, I guess. Pardon the pun, bridge the gap. We're always trying to bridge that gap between different sections of the community, because we don't want one to splinter off and sort of do its own thing. I want. It sounds very big-headed, but I want my channel and I want the league channel. I want those YouTube channels to be the main central hubs for
Yeah.
people to come to watch Hogs content and stuff like that. And from the last like year or so, my dealings with the Russian community especially has been kind of good and bad. Good in reaching out to these community members, but also bad because of certain YouTube, certain quote unquote. I'm going to call them quote unquote because they don't primarily focus on Hogs content, but certain Russian YouTubers that will take content and use it for themselves in. I mean, it's going to sound petty. I've moaned at it to you before, but thumbnails, and Bobby will know the pain of this as well, and I'm sure many others, because there's a lot. You go to Google, you search Hogs of War. There's a massive amount of images that come up that you can use in thumbnails, but my one quarrel obviously being that if you do that, you don't know. if that image has been used before in a separate video. You don't know if it's somebody's artwork. And obviously the main thing with that is if you're going to use images that are owned by someone, then, you know, you at least ask for permission. And I've had problems with my thumbnails being used and for other people's content, which I've then disputed and complained about, because it just bugs me, you know, because I'm putting so much effort into this. I probably spend the same amount of time on a thumbnail as I do making a video sometimes, depending on the length of the video. You know, and for someone to just come and take that and then take a snippet of it and use it for themselves, it's like, well, what was the point of me making it if I'm just making it for you? So that's my quarrel with certain sections of the Russian community. But at the end of the day, I still want to bridge that gap and bring everybody together, which is the main thing.
Yeah, let's hope we can achieve that even better in future. But you're not only active on YouTube. You kind of mentioned a lot of other different different communities where Hogs fans get around. Can you name a few or say what's going on there? I know you said Reddit. I'm not active at Reddit at all, so just give us an overview what communities there are for Hogs.
Well, there are a couple of I don't want to mention Facebook, but there are a couple of Facebook groups that I guess a couple of older people still use and comment on every now and then.
Let's see, maybe Hogs of War will be big in the metaverse.
Exactly. So yeah, if you search Hogs of War on Facebook, there'll be some groups there. I'm active, of course, on Twitter, which doesn't have like a central group, but if you want to keep updated with me and what's going on, then feel free to follow me over there. Yeah, the Reddit group the subreddit is it is a strange one, I guess, because it's like the Hogs community is just, I'm gonna say it, they're just silent. You know, like things will grow, but not much will be said a lot of the time. So like the subreddit is growing, but like there'll be periods of about a month whereby like only 2 people will have posted something on the subreddit.
Okay.
You know, which isn't bad. I mean, if the numbers are growing, that's still cool. And I guess it's the same for the Discord, and it's just, you know, you'll have certain sections of the Discord channel that will be quiet for a long time. But the growth is still there overall in the server. But I mean, can you think of any other areas that we like haven't stuck our fingers into yet? You know, because we've got.
I mean, there's a Steam group, but
Oh yeah, the Steam group, of course. Yeah, the Steam discussions I will have to mention are. That's another. That's kind of another hunting ground for a couple of people in the Russian community that will shoot down anyone that doesn't follow the PC version. I mean, because it's on Steam, of course, it's primarily going to follow the PC version of Hogs, and that is another area. I forgot it's another area that can be quite quiet.
And I feel like on Steam the chats or discussions are always so strange. I mean, there are a lot of false rumors out there, and there are people claiming they want to make Hogs of War 2 and ask for money and a lot of that stuff. So each second one is how do I get the game running? So.
Yep, it's always the same thing. How do I get this running on Windows 10? Why isn't it launching? Why does it crash? Are there any patches for it?
Yeah.
Why isn't the music working? There's such misinformation out there. I'm not entirely sure what that top post is that's pinned in the Steam discussion. I can't remember if I asked Luke, who of course is the lead programmer on Reheated, if they had anything to do with that. They didn't, as far as I'm aware.
So it was wasn't it? Well, I'll check it out now. It was like something with Hogs of War 2, or
something about gauging people's interest in
Hogs
whether
of War
or not
remake from Roger. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember if Roger is involved in anything, or if he was just, because he's listed as a developer, but I don't know if he's involved in. Oh yeah, he works for Alternative Software, who were the original publishers of the PC version.
Yeah, but it's from 2019, from 8th of May of 2019, so nearly 3 years old, and we haven't heard anything else about him. I don't know.
The thing is, if you scroll down and you go to the latest,
Yeah.
the latest post on that was November. Okay, November 2021 wasn't too
December
long ago.
2021. So yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the Steam discussions are there as well. But I mean, looking down the list, I mean, Bobby posts in here a lot. Shout out to Bobby, of course. He's trying to get the news out there for the league and the amount of hours that he's played on the PC version. But yeah, primarily the Steam discussions are looking for patches, looking for ways to get the PC version working. There are ways, but it's just so. I feel like the majority of the Hogs audience don't really have the patience for the steps that are there to get the PC version running. I don't.
And I would also say, even if you have the patience, that it's still not worth it.
Exactly. At the end of the day, you end up with AI that doesn't work. You end up with a multiplayer that apparently works, but still suffers greatly from input lag, probably more so than we have with
No,
Parsec.
so I played Hogs of War multiplayer on the PC version once, but it really was painful to set it up, and I had to disable some parts of my firewall, so I wasn't really feeling too well about that. But the quality, if it was your own turn, was amazing. So if it was my turn, I had amazing quality, no input lag at all. But I couldn't see a thing on the enemy turn. It was lagging as hell, and you couldn't see anything what's going on, and so it wouldn't be. And also there's no view ability like in Parsec. It's good. So we have commentators that just can see the game as well, and the others playing and don't interfere in each other. That wouldn't be. I mean, okay, we could do it with screen sharing on the PC version. That could be possible, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still, if you'd only have good quality on each second turn, it's still not good for making content like in the league.
I mean that makes sense though, given that when the original Hogs team were making, or I can't say making, when they were working on the networking, it was done LAN to LAN, PC to PC, rather than me connecting to you
Yeah,
on a server.
I guess it could work with a LAN to LAN, but at that point you can't just play
Exactly,
the
you can just
PlayStation.
play on the couch,
Yeah.
So yeah, but I like the system that we have in place now for playing multiplayer. The fact that it's possible, it is awesome in itself, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And the fact that over the past 2 years we've now been able to go from making silly multiplayer videos on YouTube to expanding into the Hogs of War League. It's
great.
quite something.
But let's go back a bit, and we mentioned the Discord a couple of times, and
Yes.
I guess it's worth talking about that a bit more since there are over 1,000 members. I think we have 1,100 something.
Oh damn, that's expanded even faster than I thought it would.
You're one of the oldest members there. I think you were the first 20 or 30 to join.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the main Discord? We've been there a while. We saw it grow. What can you say about the Discord?
I think it still boggles my mind a little bit, and I think it does for everyone else who joins the Discord and is like, "Whoa! Like, what is this place?" There's actually a huge amount of people that enjoy this game. For me personally, I mean, I joined it from you because you sent me the link to it. Yeah, in a comment on a video
back in 2019.
Which again feels way longer. Feels way further away than it actually is. But I feel like the way that the server has evolved in how it was a quiet speedrunning community, and has evolved into all these other areas, but has still maintained that area of speedrunning, and if anything is, I keep saying the central hub, but it is the central hub for everything speedrunning related. But also like the personnel that have been involved over the years. You know, the moderators that are there, and the newer moderators as well, that don't just moderate the server, but they're fully active in the community, in hosting and commentating, in speedrunning, and in everything. So it's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna be a moderator and I'm gonna have this power to do this, that, and the other, and I'm not really gonna do anything else. Not really gonna get involved in anything else in the community. We never really had that with anyone. And I mean, looking back as well, like all the people that were with us for quite some time and then they left, they are sorely missed as well.
Yeah,
because it's like a collective sadness when someone who has been involved in the Discord leaves all of a sudden out of the blue, and you're like, well, like, why? You always ask.
No, not just why, or did something happen? Like, it's still with Azel or Casper. We don't know why they left, what happened. Same with Darrett. Darrett also left all the Hogs Discords from time to time, and we were just worried. I mean, we are really growing together there, so yeah.
Yeah, the big old Hogs of War family, as it were, looking out for each other. But I mean, yeah, I always advertise the Discord, as you know, so it's become second nature to me, thinking about it and using it every day, on my phone, on my PC, everything. And yeah, I think just having this like giant spider web of communication across the internet that again is saying that message, like, we are a community, we're here, we're ready to do stuff, we want to do stuff, and we want to continue to bring content, because at the end of the day, the content side of it, the making videos part, is such a small section compared to everything else, because at the end of the day, we want to play Hogs and enjoy it, because that's what it's all about, and everything else is kind of secondary to that, as it were.
Exactly. So, I will leave a link in the description to the Hogs for Discord as well. So you can try and it if you haven't already.
Yes.
So let's come to the would say more final part of the of this podcast. We're rambling on for like 40 minutes already.
Only 40 minutes. God damn.
Yeah. So there are like two big things I want to talk about you. First of all, is the mods, because you're making a new mod again. But apart from that, just maybe what are your future plans about your media empire? I would say it, or just about the whole Hogs of War media. What are your plans there? Then let's talk a bit about the mods.
My great empire. My starting point. It's all been very overwhelming. That's what I've got to start with, because having access to something that no one else does. Again, I'm sorry that the level editor isn't available to everybody, and the tools that I'm using aren't available to everyone either. And I feel bad about it, because everyone wants to make their own thing, and here's me being like, well, I'm gonna make this, and you guys can't do anything right now. Like, I do feel bad, but at the same time, that then motivates me to produce something that everyone will like, that is new, that is different. So I mean, starting off on Pins Mod version 1, that was my super basic, like, just changing the position of the pigs, changing the ranks. And then 2 and 3 expanded the inclusion of different maps, and obviously 4, the latest one. Well, 3 changed the most because it changed maps, it changed names, and this, that, and the other. So my latest version 4, kind of dialed that back a bit, because the feedback I got from the community was that, I'd not really fussed on changing names, of like the pig names, that much, because I guess they're names people are used to. But the map stuff is kind of like what people enjoy the most, and seeing different levels, different missions, different this, that, and the other. So I've wanted to expand the lore a lot, and in the latest mod that I'm working on, which I don't have a timeline for in terms of when I'm going to release it, I'm thinking maybe summertime, like June. So I'm giving myself a
Mm.
good like 6 month period because it's already been from January that I started version 5. Um, but there's a lot that I'm doing in this mod. Again, I'm trying not to give too much away because alongside making the mod, I'm also making a documentary type vlog video thing that will be released after the mod is out, so
Yeah.
everyone can see kind of my process and what I was doing. Um, but yeah, this time around, I'm sticking with trying to expand the lore of Hogs and using the Frontshiner booklet
Oh
uh,
yeah.
as my main sort of thing. You know, because I've got Bobby working with me as well. He's gonna make some of the flags that are in that booklet.
Yeah.
And my main thought was to like, okay, well, let me take every single leader of each nation in Frontshiner in the booklet and make them into a 3D model
Oh. Oh.
and
Okay.
and do something with that.
Oh, that is a
But
lot.
yeah, the problem with that though is that obviously 3D models are incredibly expensive. I'm an animator, but I don't 3D model, so I'm a
Mm.
bit awful with that. But I'm also very conscious of time as well because that would mean 6 different models being made,
Yeah.
um, and then having to rig them, animate them, this, that, and the other. So I'm working on that. I'm coming up with a different way of doing it. And again, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see my updates on these kind of things and posts and whatnot. But in terms of like where do I go from here? I mean, the next stage, because I'm really reaching the end point as to what I can achieve with the tools that I do have in terms of the map pool that
Yeah.
I've got, the different things in different levels, this pig ranks and everything. I'm really reaching the end point of how much I can change, and you can say, okay, yeah, well, you can go back and like take the best maps from version 3 and
Mm.
some of the good ones from version 4, but I don't want to do that because I've already you've already seen them.
Yeah.
I've
I
already
remember.
I've already used them, and it would just be making another mod but with the same stuff in different sections,
Yeah.
so this one is like the version 5 will be the not the end, but it will be kind of the time where once it's done, I'll pause and it'll be a good I'm going to say anything because I always say like, okay, it's going to be a while until I make the next one, and then like 2 months later I'm like, hey, here's version 6. So
Yeah.
I don't know
But
if
if you feel like you're reaching a limit on what's possible, what's possible with the tool at this moment.
yeah.
So you're saying if the
y-
tool gets updated, upgraded, and you can make own maps, maybe at some point. I don't know if that will ever be possible. But if you're like getting yeah, the possibility to create new stuff with new tools, upgraded tools, you could imagine making the more mods then. But
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And that's why version 4 and this version 5 focus more on the lore aspect. Like the actual putting together of the ISO and the maps and
Yeah.
everything and setting all that up. I could do that in a weekend, but
Yeah.
it's the lore stuff that is taking me these like 6 months because it's a lot of side work because I made those
Yeah.
cutscenes in version 4 and those were eh, that's all I'm going to say
Mm.
about those because I didn't really think they were that great, but it kind of shows what I wanted to tell in terms of a story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm reaching my limit on the game, but lore stuff could maybe be expanded on in later versions.
Yeah. So yeah, and I have to say, like for me, version 1 and 2, they felt like, yeah, they were fun to play through, but it was like nothing you didn't see coming. So
Yeah,
same for my mod. It's like yeah, I had limited possibilities, and it was like I'll just make this mod and just make it a bit harder, the core game, just to give a new challenge out. But with
yeah,
version 3 and 4, it really felt like it could be a new game or a DLC or something. That
yeah.
that really felt like 3 and 4 to me. But it really was a new experience again, playing through this mods, and not just slightly different level structures and harder enemies or so, but really a whole new experience.
Well, when if my mod has the approval of you and primarily the Italian squad, the Italian section of the community, then that makes me happy because you guys are the you're essentially my playtesters, and that if it is really hard, then that's great. If it's hard for you,
Yeah. I'll have to say, yeah. I think in the first mod was a bit more like also play test for you, how to
yeah,
even do things, and
yeah, pretty much. It
looking
was my
back,
training wheels.
yeah, looking back at it, I mean, looking back, looking at the others now, looking back to V1 was really, yeah, not that great
It was
in
quite
comparison
something.
to
I
the
know.
others. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like just a bit. It looks a bit messy now. Just like a bunch of different stuff, and let's see what it does. So
yeah,
I don't blame
pretty
you for
much.
that. It really. I mean, it was the same I was doing in my mod. I was just changing some random numbers and hoping I get a good result. And it
Yeah,
ended up in a pillbox in water, disappearing bridges, uh, transparent walls in Mission 21. So the building you can just walk through the building. And
like,
like just crazy stuff happened, but
yeah. But yeah, I
hmm,
mean, you mentioned the whole like DLC thing. That's kind of the aspect I'm going with version 5, in that
hmm,
I'm not just going to release the same sort of trailer. I'm
yeah,
going to release like a teaser trailer, and like there'll be I might make like a poster or something, and just to try and advertise it a bit more.
yeah.
I even thought about using Unity and
Oh
the
wow.
not in terms of like the game part,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like this
of course, of course.
the the side bit, like the animations I make, the videos I do, kind of creating like a UI menu, in
Yeah.
that you choose your team, and then it's the same kind of thing where it's like, watch this video, like here's the intro, and then after you've watched the intro, it would like unlock the next video, and that would be like, watch this after you've finished Hog's Head, that kind of thing.
Oh,
So
that sounds really cool.
yeah, sort of like an interactive video that goes
Yeah.
alongside it. Whether or not it will get that far, I don't know. We'll see, because that's a whole other area to wrap my head around. Because I was using Unity when I was making that Hogs flying demo thing, which is still
Yeah, I wanted to
sitting.
ask you about that, about a playing game.
Yeah, it's still sat on my desktop. I ran into some problems with it, and then my motivation for it just sort of
Hmm.
subsided. It's still there. I still want to do something with it, but it won't be until much, much later on in the year.
So first, Malta has priority now.
Yes, pretty much. That is my priority. Alongside, I'm balancing the mod alongside other video game stuff that I'm involved in relation to voice work, which has taken me a
Yeah.
good 2 weeks. It's taken a good 2 weeks off of my focus on the mod. So once that's kind of squared away, I can get back to version 5 and animating, because I have all the character models ready. I just need to rig them.
Mm.
I need to rig and skin them, animate them. No, wait, no. I need to rig and skin them. Then I need to finish the script for all of those videos. Then I need to do the voice work for them. Then I can animate. Then I can finish the like in-game stuff, levels and whatnot. Then I have to make all the briefing screens, and then I have to change all the names of things, and then I can package it all together, and it will be done.
Well,
So not much.
definitely, it sounds like a lot. I have to say,
Yeah, it's a little.
but yeah, I guess that wraps everything up. Or do you have something to add, a personal note, or something other from your channel? So whatever
Um,
comes in your
I,
mind.
I guess just reiterating that, with my focus being on other stuff right now, videos will be slower on
Yeah,
the channel, um, and I'm reaching the point where I don't have much of a backlog anymore of videos to like easily edit
yeah,
and upload. So yeah, just bear with me in terms of video production. But other than that, thank you for having me, Casa,
yeah.
on this podcast. It's
Glad
been
you.
great just to sit and sort of say all these things. I'm tired. It's
Yeah, I think you, but I think you gave us some great insight, or some background knowledge and some. I hope it wasn't too boring for the listeners to yeah
I'm sure
for
they'll
their
love it.
but
Anything that's hogs related.
yeah,
It's gonna
I
be
think it's just yeah, that's what the podcast is about. It's not like new content or or not new groundbreaking things, but it's just a bit more expanding the depth,
yeah, a
about
nice deep dive.
yeah. So if
Yeah,
you're really interested in things and just getting a bit of knowledge, and yeah, if you have any other topics you want me to cover, or if you have any questions you want me to answer, just get them, yeah, comment on YouTube or write them on Discord, and I will try add them in the next podcast. So thanks, Pin, for being my first guest.
thank you for having me.
And good luck with the mod. Of course, we're all looking forward to that. And I wanted to say your voice line now to end, but I think I'll leave that.
We'll catch you all later for the next one.
Exactly. Goodbye.